Well, in one dream I had, it's like I was living with, I would say, two other girls. We seemed like we were in our 20s or something. One of the girls and I, we had two closets that we used. And then I realized the third girl who slept in another area, I wasn't sure where her closet space was, and maybe she'd forgotten to figure that out because I finally go and talk to her about it. One of the things that I had to do is I had to make some kind of a poster that I was then going to hang on the wall of my closet on the door. And as I'm making this poster, I made it in these kind of soft pastel colors. We're all making posters. There's even some guys that come and make posters. And you're making it kind of with some chalk-like pastels and maybe some paint. As I'm trying to put it together, it's like this guy comes over and it's like he does things that kind of mess it up a bit, make it stick together where it shouldn't, and I have to pull it apart. Whatever he does, it just seems to make it stickier and harder to deal with, so that then I have to get it unstuck together and pull it out so it looks like it should so I can hang it up. I remember that was annoying. It was frustrating. And I finally get it hung up. And I think that was when I finally noticed that the other gal needs her own closet. That's all I remember of that dream.
The nature of the dreaming last night was to be able to take in energetics that are in the surroundings of one's being. You usually ignore or block out in order to do something. And so you have a scenario in which you're trying to feel the comfortability of the space that you're in. And the images all carry an energetic vibration that defines how you are able to function in that space. In other words, first of all, you're in a room with other roommates. You all have pictures that you're making. But the fact that you have a separate picture from the ones that your roommates are making, there's a very subtle separation there. However, because they're roommates, there's a closeness too. So it's not like you're really that estranged by the fact that that exists, because somehow you're kind of working together, but you do have this slight separation to you with it. And then comes a person into the room, which causes you, in terms of what it is that you're directly working on, it causes what you're doing to get distorted or affected. And when that happens, of course, your attention goes to what it is that you're doing that was kind of casual and carefree to begin with. And now you have to get that back on track. And what happens as a result of that is you will then lose track of the others in your room or in the space. We're all working on their paintings, which you kind of supported in some fashion, but now you have to let go of that support because you're having to contend with something that disrupted or distracted what it was that you were doing that invaded the space. So a dream like this is, more than anything, the importance is not necessarily the unfoldment in terms of what's going on. The importance is in being able to recognize what this is doing to your attention on an energetic level. You're meant to be able to take in this estranged, unusual, more outside of your comfortability zones energetic that this guy brings in. You're meant to be able to take that in. And if you can take it in, it will enhance the situation. But if you're not able to quite let it in, then what it does is it disturbs or discolors or diffuses what you're trying to be. A dream like this is intended to show you how to be flexible and fluid energetically in a flow and not get mired in a mannerism to the point where, as other things happen, you're not able to handle those or take those into account without finding yourself getting estranged, without finding what you're doing being impacted or discolored. There's two ways of remembering a dream like this. One is to remember the dream and just leave it at that. I'm inclined to have to get a dream like that to pop in because I would remember the energetic as if I'm going straight to what it's about as a meaning. I would then forget the dream and forget the symbolism, and therefore just remembering the energetic, it doesn't hang around very long. In your particular case, you remember the imagery. Now you need to connect the imagery with the energetic that imagery had you feeling. And then that adds something to your greater being that's being worked on or is awakening.
I think I had a dream that maybe even began before that one. It's almost like it would go on and go away and come back. And at first it took place in an outdoor area. And I do like almost like in a park, but the park also had a hillside to it where you could hide. And it felt like a lot of time I was hiding. I was hiding and watching what went on. And I almost had the sense sometimes that there were government people trying to do something to one. So I was trying to stay off the radar, so to speak, but still kind of spying on what was going on around. Everything was very green. It was usually more dark than light. And I would see people get taken into this trailer, and the trailer might be just sitting in a clearing in the park with some steps going up to it. I'd be on the heels of spying, particularly when nobody was around. I just had this sense I wasn't going to let the government get me in that trailer. So I would be moving around a bit so I could kind of stay away from whatever I felt like the government agents were trying to hunt you down or what they might do. And noticing what happened to other people occasionally. That dream just seemed to go on for a long time.
It's good that you could remember that dream, because that dream is louder than the other dream, in which that which is distinct and separate and troublesome to you in terms of a focus and a direction that you have yourself aimed in. It's like hunting you down. It's like not giving any solace or peace. You're not able to isolate your attention around that which you have selected as important or meaningful. When you put that together with the other dream, you realize that you're meant to be able to take all of that into account. That adds to a part of your greater wholeness. As a masculine way of a dream, it would add to your clarity in terms of being able to have a broader perspective in terms of life around you. But in terms of you, it just all is meant to be taken into account and fit into your world as a wholeness, to which then you have a greater being and heartfulness that encompasses all of that as well, and that you can take all of that in as well. If that was my dream, it would involve having to understand the things that disturb me, that are the variances, that are the changes that are stalking me or interfering with my cadence as I see my cadence to be. And if I can include that, then I naturally become a more whole person simply by being an objective side of my development. And you become a more whole person by being able to take something into account, looking at it from a feminine direction, by the greater subjective side of yourself that just naturally knows how to be with even more.